Sometimes, the most interesting games aren't in the top charts, they're hiding in the shadows. No million downloads, no flashy marketing campaigns, no front-page reviews. And yet, these are the titles that surprise, inspire, and stay with you long after the credits roll. In this video, we're diving into a selection of lesser-known but seriously awesome pixel art games. Some will leave you breathless, others might make you laugh or even cry, and none of them feel like just another generic clone. A space for the Unbound. A sweltering 1990s Indonesian town, school uniforms, and a touch of mysticism, the backdrop for a deeply emotional journey. The story follows two high schoolers grappling with supernatural anomalies that begin to tear reality apart. You'll explore people's thoughts and dive into their subconscious like flipping through the pages of a book. The gameplay leans into classic adventure mechanics, exploring environments, solving light puzzles, and talking to NPCs. But the standout feature is the ability to dive into other characters' minds to uncover fears, secrets, and personal stories. It's heartfelt, surreal, and unafraid to touch on themes like anxiety, depression, and healing. Anodyne. This isn't your average dungeon crawler. It's a surreal deep dive into the human psyche. Anodyne places you in a dreamlike world filled with strange, fragmented memories and abstract environments. You'll explore everything from gloomy swamps to haunting urban landscapes, all viewed through the lens of a subconscious journey. Instead of a sword, you wield a broom, useful for both combat and solving environmental puzzles. The world is non-linear, full of secrets, and constantly plays with logic and meaning. It's not just a game, it's a metaphorical journey into self-reflection. At times bizarre, at times brilliant, perfect for fans of unconventional storytelling. Don't Escape, 4 Days to Survive. A pixel art survival adventure that flips the genre on its head. The apocalypse has already happened. Your job isn't to prevent it, but to survive what's left. You have 4 days, and every decision you make matters. Should you board up the windows or fix the generator? Scavenge for food or reinforce the shelter? Each day brings a new disaster. Toxic storms, deep freezes, mutant attacks. That means every playthrough offers a different kind of hell. Using classic point-and-click mechanics, the game feels more like a tactical survival sim than a typical adventure. Along the way, you'll uncover bits of your past, your companions' stories, and hints at what lies beyond the ruins. The Darkside Detective. Paranormal activity runs rampant in town, and Detective Francis McQueen is right in the middle of it. With his bumbling yet lovable sidekick, he tackles bizarre and supernatural cases that toe the line between horror and comedy. Think The X-Files meets Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but in pixel form. Each case is a standalone parody of classic horror or supernatural tropes, demons in schools, haunted libraries, or a microwave that opens a portal to hell. The gameplay sticks to traditional point-and-click, talk to characters, collect items, solve puzzles. But the real hook is in the writing. It's witty, self-aware, and packed with pop culture references and clever jokes. The pixel art adds charm and makes everything feel delightfully retro. Touhou Luna Nights, a fast-paced Metroidvania where time manipulation is more than a mechanic. It's your main weapon. You play as Sakuya, a knife-throwing maid who can slow down, stop, or rewind time to dodge traps and outmaneuver enemies. Combat is lightning fast, with a satisfying rhythm of dodging and attacking. The level design is tight and secret-filled, and the soundtrack features remixed themes from the iconic Touhou series. Even if you've never touched a Touhou game before, Luna Nights offers an expertly crafted, stylish Metroidvania experience that feels both fresh and incredibly polished. Shattered Pixel Dungeon. A classic top-down roguelike, but don't let the simple graphics fool you. There's surprising depth and strategy here. Every dungeon is a fresh challenge, every potion a gamble, and every death a lesson. You choose your class and begin your descent, fighting monsters, hunting for artifacts, and gradually developing your own survival playstyle. Each run is a unique adventure where you'll need to adapt constantly to cursed items, poison, hunger, or even changing underground climates. The game walks a fine line between tough but fair and truly tactical. Success doesn't come from luck, it comes from smart decisions. The developer has been supporting the game for years, adding new classes, items, enemies, and layers of lore that keep the world feeling alive and ever-evolving. Yuppie Psycho. First day on the job, always stressful. Now imagine your new office is literally haunted by ghosts, cults, and bloody rituals, all wrapped in corporate dress code. That's Yuppie Psycho in a nutshell. You play as a new hire at a giant megacorporation and quickly realize that something is seriously, horrifically wrong. You'll use ordinary office supplies in very unordinary ways, blessing printers to save your game, luring monsters with paper scents, and navigating a maze of bizarre office politics. It's a mix of horror, dark comedy, and classic adventure gameplay. No cheap jump scares here. The tension creeps up slowly, constantly. The puzzles are clever, the atmosphere unnerving, and the story surprisingly deep and unexpectedly emotional. Iconoclasts. This one's a side-scrolling Metroidvania with a stunning pixel art style and a story that hits hard. You play as a mechanic in a world where religion and government tightly control access to technology. Your crime? Fixing machines without permission. What follows is a roller coaster of events that peel back the layers of a dystopian society. Gameplay blends tight platforming, shooting, and clever puzzles, with boss fights that will seriously test your reflexes. But it's the narrative that really makes Iconoclasts stand out. Beautifully written dialogue, memorable characters, and themes of faith, purpose, and rebellion. Add in a rich soundtrack and expressive animation, and you get a world that feels vibrant, lived in, and emotionally resonant. Rakuen. No monsters, no combat, but still your heart races. Rakuen tells the story of a young boy stuck in a hospital who escapes into a whimsical, dreamlike world with his mother. There, he helps other patients, slowly uncovering their struggles and his own. It's soft, personal, and quietly heartbreaking. Gameplay is light, mostly consisting of dialogue, exploration, and puzzle solving. But that's part of what makes every moment land so deeply. The themes, illness, loneliness, grief, are handled with care, never heavy-handed. And the soundtrack? Absolutely stunning. It doesn't just support the atmosphere, it is the atmosphere. This is the kind of story that lingers long after the game ends. Virgo versus the Zodiac. A JRPG set in a universe shaped by Zodiac archetypes. You play as Virgo, a determined, borderline fanatical heroine who believes the only way to restore order is to eliminate the other signs. Sounds ridiculous? Maybe, but the game strikes a fascinating balance between absurd humor, surreal storytelling, and real philosophical undertones. Combat is turn-based, but with a twist. Every action relies on precise timing, like Paper Mario. You can't just mash buttons. Attacks, dodges, even healing require rhythm and focus. It's full of strange, clever design. Food affects battles, some items are literally alive, and the world is rich with quirky characters. It's weird in all the best ways, and completely unlike anything else. Haak. In a ruined world where civilization clings to survival amidst sandstorms and electric storms, a lone hero with a hook for an arm rises from the dust. Haak isn't just a platformer, it's a deep exploration of a decaying world, survival, and blurred lines between allies and enemies, all of it wrapped in gritty pixel art and a pulsing, atmospheric soundtrack. Combat combines melee action with special abilities, while the world is built in classic Metroidvania fashion, unlocking new areas by returning with upgrades and uncovering secrets. The game oozes 80s action movie vibes, with cybernetic bandits, mutated creatures, and ominous ruins whispering long-forgotten truths. It's equal parts brawler, mystery, and survival. Owlboy. It might look like a charming fairy tale at first glance, but Owlboy goes far deeper, hitting emotional notes that rival any Pixar film. The story follows a mute owlboy navigating a floating world torn by conflict, loneliness, and the search for belonging. It's a journey of self-acceptance told through breathtaking pixel animation that took nearly a decade to complete. Gameplay mixes platforming, light combat, and puzzles. Instead of wielding weapons, you carry companions on your back, each with unique abilities that help you solve challenges and fight off enemies. The world is rich with humor, warmth, and emotional weight. It's not just a game. It feels like a lovingly handcrafted animated movie that you get to live. Unsighted. Set in a post-apocalyptic future where sentient androids are running out of time, literally, Unsighted puts pressure on every decision. Each character, including you, has a countdown. When it ends, they're gone for good. Friends, vendors, even quest givers, no one is safe from the ticking clock. The gameplay is fast and fluid, combining tight Metroidvania exploration with stylish combat that feels like Hyper Light Drifter. You'll dodge, slash, explore, upgrade, and constantly weigh your options. Save a friend or yourself, spend time looking for resources, or hurry to stop a loss. Every moment matters, and every sacrifice changes the course of your story. Dark devotion. Blood, faith, and steel. That's the trinity holding up the brutal world of dark devotion. You play as a warrior of the Inquisition, venturing into a cursed holy site where every corridor brings death, mystery, and fragments of lost devotion. This 2D Metroidvania meets Souls-like tension, where even a basic enemy can kill you if you lose focus. Combat relies on perfect timing, rolls, parries, weapon choices. The environments drip with dread, rotting cathedrals, blood-stained altars, eerie rites. Instead of leveling up, you collect blessings and curses that shape your playstyle. The game constantly pushes you to reflect on sacrifice, belief, and what you're willing to endure in the name of survival. Akane. No side quests, no mercy. Just you, your katana, and an endless stream of enemies. Akane is a hyper-focused cyberpunk slasher where every move counts. You play as a lone samurai locked in a never-ending fight where it's one hit, one kill, for you and your enemies. Once you get in the rhythm, the game becomes a ballet of blood and neon. The longer you survive, the more you unlock. New swords, guns, and enhancements. Everything pops with synthwave flair, glowing signs, pulsing beats, and pools of red on concrete floors. It's the perfect mix of stress relief and pure challenge, a game that never lets up and never slows down. Kill the Crows. Dry wind, haunting music, and a loaded revolver. That's all you need for this pixel art western dripping with style. Kill the Crows is a minimalist top-down shooter with tactical flair and a razor-sharp aesthetic. You play as a lone gunslinger, a woman on a path of vengeance against those who destroyed her village. Every shootout feels like a duel, quick, brutal, and unforgiving. You'll die a lot, but slowly your reflexes sharpen, you'll fire before you even think. The black and white visuals, accented with splashes of red, for blood and fury, make every frame feel cinematic. The short levels are intense, the tension constant, and it all plays out like a lost Tarantino film rendered in pixels. Sometimes the strongest emotions don't come from big-budget graphics, but from ideas etched into every pixel. These games may not have hit the mainstream, but they've got something even more valuable: soul. A unique vision, attention to detail, and a desire to tell stories that matter. That's what makes them unforgettable. If you discovered even one new gem today, then this video was worth it. Thanks for being here. See you next time.